I'd like to call this meeting of the Lammersville Unified Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock. Just a reminder, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded, so at this time, if you could please silence or turn off your cell phones, it would be appreciated. Recently, we had a student at the high school, Major Manning, pass away, and I'd like to have a moment of silence at this time. Thank you. And if we could have Wicklund Elementary School come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, President Pombo, Dr. Nicholas, and trustees. What's up? We are here to present What's Up at Wicklund, presented by Wicklund ASB. Hi, my name is Zara Gilani, and I'm president at Wicklund.
My name's Ashlyn Pitterton, and I'm the vice president.
My name is Samuel Verlies, and I'm the secretary.
My name is Sage Skink. I am the publicity.
Here are some of our 2023 to 2024 goals and visions.
We are hoping to improve school spirit by involving more student involvement, dress-up days, assemblies, and many more.
We want to inform students with weekly news reports like What's Up Wicklund.
And then we are also wanting to improve school communication by morning Friday announcements. Some upcoming events that we're having is the homecoming parade, which is on the 20th.
Red Ribbon Week is on the 23rd of October to the 27th of October.
The Halloween parade is on the 31st of October.
The PBS store and room is every Friday.
The homecoming parade is where all the schools design a float to represent themselves. The homecoming float theme this year is Ghostbusters. Our ASB committee is working very hard to show an amazing float in the parade. We also have our band that is playing the Ghostbusters theme, and then we have our dance team participating as well.
Red Ribbon Week is a week to encourage students to stay drug-free. It's on the 23rd of October to the 27th of October. Our school shows their support by having dress-up days. Monday is wear red, Tuesday is wear your Disney gear, Wednesday is wear mismatched clothing, Thursday is wear camouflage clothing, and Friday is wear your pajamas. We also have DARE graduation on October 26th at 6 p.m.
The Halloween parade is on the 31st of October on a Tuesday. It starts around 8:30 a.m. and it's 1 hour long. Kids in grades 1st to 8th grade dress up in their favorite Halloween costumes and walk around the school.
The PBS store and room is a place where students are rewarded for their positive behavior. The PBS room has many fun games and activities for the students. Students are able to go in this room once they receive a golden ticket. Students are able to purchase many different types of things inside the PBS store with their Hero Bucks. Hero Bucks are given to students by a staff member when they showcase positive behavior.
So recently, on the 22nd of September, our school had a fundraiser, which was called the Splashathon. Students who donated $20 had the opportunity to take part of the event, or they could have paid up front. All proceedings that were donated to our school went for a good cause. Those who donated $5 or more earned a star with their name on it, and as they walked into the school, they would be able to see it.
Wicklund Wildcats are heroes. Heroes stands for honest to all, encouraging to everyone, respectful, optimistic, eager to learn, and safe.
Here are the September awardees for first scholars got rewarded for displaying the hero's characteristics. This video is of our 5th, 6th grade volleyball team winning getting the winning point against Cuesta.
Every week we do What's Up Wicklund, which is a news segment that spreads information to people around our school. We feature some segments like teacher interviews, student interviews, news updates, pictures, and more.
What's Up Wicklund is a news segment that spreads information to people around our school.
We include segments like teacher interviews, student interviews, news updates, and more.
What's up, Wicklund? It's your host along with
Navia?
and Anaya.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. What being respectful is to me is when somebody asks you something and you just don't ignore them and you listen to what they have to say.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching another What's Up, Wicklund.
Make sure to tune in to next week's video. Bye!
Thank you. Does anybody have
Thank you. Any questions or comments by the board?
Great job.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Thanks for coming in.
Great. Thank you.
Well done, thank you. And at this time, you are more than welcome to stay for the entire riveting meeting, or you can quietly exit. It's your choice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Anita Daniel.
Absent.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Devika Vitolani.
Here.
Approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Clements. Student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with one absent. Committee reports. Open up. District Advisory Committee, trustee Boulay.
We have nothing to report.
District English Language Advisory Committee, trustee Clements.
Mr. President, the next DLAC meeting will be a reclassification celebration, and it is scheduled for Thursday, October 26th in the Cordis Multipurpose Room.
Thank you. And I am the Education Committee, and our next meeting is October 24th at 6:30 in the PDC. Facilities Committee, trustee Olson.
Yes, the Facilities Committee met on September 21st, and at that time, 5 of the 39 applicants for consideration to be the new member, the new community member, were interviewed, and 1 was selected, and that name is on the agenda this evening. During the meeting, there were multiple items discussed. There was a request to remove signage at the Montessori preschool so that they could accurately reflect the space that they're leasing, and that is something that I believe will be coming to the board. There was a demonstration on Facilitron, which is a program that allows people to make reservations online, which would free up staff time in handling the community requests because they are growing. There's quite a number of requests that come through, and so the staff is looking into that and other options that may be less expensive, and just to kind of get a comparison. So that's something that's ongoing. And the committee discussed banners at the school sites and how many banners are appearing now. And staff is going to come up with some language and rules about who can place banners and what the parameters are that might tighten things up a little bit. And then language of the handbook and civic permits was reviewed and also tightened up to be more reflective of the needs of staff, to make it clear, to what people need to do and what to expect. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Policy Committee, Trustee Boulay.
Thank you. The current set of policies will come to the next board meeting, so I believe that's November 1st, and that will be for the first read.
Thank you. Safety Committee is mine, and the next Safety Committee meeting is November 9th at 3:45 at the PDC. Wellness Committee, Trustee Olson.
The Wellness Committee met on October 11th, and the school staff, led by our district nurse, Beth Sorensen, is getting ready or sending out the Healthy Kids survey that goes out to 3 specific grades and is taken every 2 years, which gives us an insight on how students feel about how they're treated in the district. And vision and hearing screening are starting for our students, and they have activated the Go Guardian beacon, which allows school staff to help students who may need some extra social, emotional, mental health support. And all of the sites reported on the wellness activities they're doing at their schools, and it was wonderful reports on multiple PBIS stores, restorative circles, wellness centers, and just really focusing on the overall well-being of our students. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5, Governing Board Reports. Student Trustee Vitellani.
Good evening, esteemed board members. I would like to begin my updates from Mountain House High School. Starting off with club updates, Speech and Debate attended their first YFL competition, YFL 2. Congratulations to Shreya Lakshmanan for winning first place for Varsity Informative Event. DACA will be holding their first mini-comp on October 28th, and NHA's induction ceremony just took place today from 6 to 7 p.m. MHH's drama performed Pride and Prejudice at this year's fall play. Thank you to everyone who attended to watch our drama department's first production of the year. Our ASB updates include that tomorrow morning we will be holding our homecoming blue and silver rallies for all Mountain House High School students. Leadership has been working extremely hard for preparing and creating homecoming floats this week with the following themes while working with fire marshals and K-8 schools. The themes for this year include freshmen as Jaws, sophomores as Pirates of the Caribbean, juniors as Avengers, and seniors as Jurassic World. The dance theme is A Night in Paris, and the rally theme is Oscars. This week is currently Spirit Week, and we have float building October 10th, 11th, 18th, and 19th, the homecoming rally, which is tomorrow morning, homecoming parade and game on Friday, October 20th, and the homecoming dance scheduled for Saturday, October 21st. Senior tailgate is coming up on October 27th, and as Halloween is approaching, the annual Mountain House High School House of Horrors event is scheduled for October 30th. Moving on to sporting updates. From the week of October 9th to 14th, we had 2 tennis games, girls golf game, water polo, football, and girls volleyball. From the week of October 16th through the 21st, we have 2 tennis games, 1 golf game, 1 cross-country meet, 2 water polo games, football games, and volleyball. From the week of October 23rd to 28th, we will be having girls tennis games, girls golf games, cross-country, water polo, football, and volleyball. And lastly, the last week, we will be having a water polo game, cross-country, tennis, football, and water polo. Mountain House High School won its last 2 football games with the big win over Pacheco last Friday. All students are looking forward to the upcoming homecoming football game, which is a hoedown showdown theme. Mountain House will compete against Sarah's High this week and look forward to another home victory. Additional high school updates. Currently, the LUSD anti-bullying poster contest is going on to stop the bullying acts with kindness and promote a positive and safe school environment. The PSAT was proctored at Mountain House High School on Saturday, October 14th, 2023. And Ms. White has been communicating with all AP students this year to schedule and enroll for their AP courses and exams prior to their deadline. Moving on to the middle and elementary schools. All middle schools will be displaying their homecoming floats on Friday, October 20th, and everyone is quite excited to see all the new ideas. Additionally, during the week of October 23rd through 27th, all schools will be having a scheduled Red Ribbon Week and rallies and assemblies to follow that, followed by the Halloween Parade on October 31st. Bethany has a fundraiser scheduled for this month, as well as multiple volleyball games and Chipotle fundraisers. Lammersville also has a Panda Express CJSF fundraiser scheduled, and they will be going over the respect character trait. Wickland Elementary, Cordes, and Costa Elementary will have multiple volleyball games and practices. And lastly, Cuesta has their club book fair scheduled for the week of October 23rd through 27th. That concludes my report for this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Boulay.
Thank you. On September 22nd, I attended the Splashathon at Wickland. It was a huge hit with over 1,000 people attending, and I understand they earned close to $60,000 for classrooms. So congratulations, and a huge thank you to all the WSF board members and volunteers, teachers, and staff that made that a success. On October 10th, I went to a girls' high school water polo game. On October 12th, I went to a boys' high school water polo game, and both teams played very hard, and it was exciting to watch them. They didn't win, but the players never gave up, and I want to thank the parents that I was sitting next to, because I'm not a water polo player. I don't understand all the rules, so I'm learning as I watch, so it's interesting. On October 13th, I went to the high school play Pride and Prejudice, and congratulations to the cast and crew for their hard work. It was a really great performance, an incredibly versatile set. I'm impressed at how creative they get with how they use their set, and the costumes were perfect for that time period. It was a wonderful evening, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Clements.
First and foremost, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of our student that passed away recently. Last week, I attended the Fall Carnival at Quest Elementary and Lammersville Elementary. Both events seemed to be very well attended, and it looked like the children had a lot of fun. And for the first 10 years or so that my family lived in the district, my wife and I helped set up Carnival and helped tear it down. So I know firsthand how much work that is. So I wanted to say a special thank you to all of the parents and volunteers that helped with that effort. It's a great event for the kids, but it's a lot of work too. So thank you very much. Earlier this week, I was able to visit Bethany Elementary School. I wanted to thank Ms. Ritchie and her staff for affording me the opportunity to visit the school. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Trustee Olson.
Thank you, President Pombo. I would also first like to begin my board report by offering my condolences to Major Manning's family and all of his friends and school staff who I know have been very impacted by this loss. And I'm grateful that there's supports out there for everyone, and I hope that everyone's doing okay. I attended the Mountain House JV and varsity football games versus Bayer High School, and I got to do chain gang for the varsity game, and that was like the highlight of my fall break. I have to say, that was so much fun. I think that's the first time I've actually been on a football field, like at that level, because I'm the parent in the stands before, or just the spectator, and that was like amazing. I'm going to volunteer again. I hope there's like a space for me to volunteer again, because that was amazing. I also attended the boys and girls water polo games versus Grace Davis, and Trustee Boulay, it's probably good that you haven't played water polo, because I did. That was my sport, And it was hard for me to keep my mouth shut because I was like, you know, knowing how to say, no, do this, shoot there. And so.
Imagine that.
Dr. Nicholas, could you pull the knife out?
On October 13th, I attended the Cuesta Carnival. And it, like you were saying, Trustee Clements, it was a wonderful event, and they worked really hard to put it on. And I was part of the first carnival. That was when I was QSF president, and it's gotten so much better each year, and just been refined and perfected, and such a wonderful thing for the community, the school community, to come and together and have that moment. So I just want to congratulate them and all of the PTOs on their events that they do, because they're making a difference. On October 14th, I attended the school play, Pride and Prejudice, and I echo what Trustee Boulay said. It was amazing, and another wonderful production from the drama department. And I visited Hanson on October 10th, and Costa on October 13th at Mountain House High. Actually, I visited Hanson on October 11th, Mountain House High on October 10th, and Costa on October 13th. I was just reminded of what beautiful facilities we have, how well maintained they are. It made me grateful for our custodial staff and maintenance who keep things running so well. I was impressed with our students. I saw high quality instruction as I walked through the classrooms, saw respectful students, and it was wonderful to visit with Principal Auerbach, Principal Baptista, and Principal Pacheco. Wonderful, wonderful time there. I'm so grateful for all of the things that staff do. And I just wanted to conclude my report by saying a reflection on the greatness of our district is I was walking my daughter home from Cuesta Elementary School one day after school, and a group of 4 middle school boys, I don't know them, so I'm guessing that they were probably 6th or 7th grade, were walking in front of me, and their walk was kind of the same distance as mine to my home. So I was just overhearing their conversation because they were loud. And the whole time home, they were talking about school, academic discussion, like their project and their science, and you know, like how they were going to do their project, and oh, that's a great idea. And I was just like, I don't know if that happens at other schools or at places, but that was pretty amazing. And I really hope the one boy's mom bought the hot glue that he was really concerned about. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, and I apologize for that remark. It was uncalled for.
I forgive you, Trustee, or President Pombo.
Thank you. I too would like to start out my report with my condolences to the family of Major Manning. On October 4th, I attended the CSBA Roadshow in Murphy's, California, and they had presentations on services that are available from CSBA, that's California School Boards Association. They also had presentations on legislation that they are working on, and I was able to share my concerns about how state regulations and funding and state funding have a negative effect on LUSD, so I'm hoping that maybe some of our concerns will percolate up the chain there, and somebody in Sacramento will listen to some of our concerns. On October 6th, Dr. Nicholas and I met with County Supervisor Bob Rickman to share our concerns about some of the county issues that affect LUSD. On October 13th, I attended the Lammersville Elementary Harvest Carnival, and it was a lot of fun, as it always is, but I agree with my fellow board members that a lot of work goes into that by parents and staff to make these events success. On October 14th, I attended the Garba Night at Mountain House High School. A lot of fancy dresses and a lot of people dancing. Then later that evening, I attended the Mountain House High School presentation of Pride and Prejudice. It was a wonderful performance that I very much enjoyed. And that concludes my report. Moving on to item 6, receiving of public comments. The entire board appreciates hearing from members of the community and public at large. The board shall give members of the public an opportunity to address the board either before or during the board's consideration of each agenda item. At a time so designated on the agenda, members of the public may also bring before the board matters that are not listed on the agenda of a regular meeting. The board may refer such a matter to the superintendent or designee or take it under advisement, but shall not take action at that time. The board may place the matter on the agenda of a subsequent meeting for discussion or action. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. And seeing no blue cards, if anyone in the audience would like to make a public comment at this time, please come forward. Seeing none, we shall move on to item 7, consent items for consideration. Actions proposed for consent are consistent with the approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. Trustees receive board agenda background information in advance of scheduled meetings and are prepared to vote with knowledge on the consent items. The consent items are as follows. Governing Board meeting minutes, our last meeting, contracts under $50,000, ratification of certificated and classified personnel actions, updated 2023-2024 fundraisers, ratification of budget revisions and warrant list for September 2023, ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips, ratification of appointment of facilities committee community member, declaration of surplus materials, e-waste, and acceptance of a $2,000 donation from Colin and Virginia Clements towards the Mountain House High School Scholarship Fund. If any member of the board would like to pull any item for further discussion or separate consideration.
I don't want to pull anything out, but I do have comments on 2 items.
All right, go ahead.
On subpoint E, the ratification of budget revisions and warrant list, there was one item that was not readily apparent as to what it was. So if we could get clarification in the record on the $460,000 increase to the budget that was listed as CalShape.
So CalShape was a project in which we went through and revamped, upgraded the workings of our HVAC system.
Thank you, sir. And then on subpoint I, the donation, last year I had intended for the $2,000 that I contributed to be for the 2 years, 1 scholarship each year. Both of the first 2 years that we've done this, the committee identified 2 great candidates and proposed 2 candidates at a time, and I'm kind of a soft sell. But I would really ask that the scholarship committee limit it to 1 scholarship, one $1,000 scholarship per year moving forward, because I can't really afford $2,000 a year. That's the end of my comments.
And can I add, I would like to thank you, Trustee Clements, and your wife for your generosity to our high school students. I think it's a great opportunity for 1 or 2 students.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. Move to approve consent items.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Clements and seconded by Trustee Olson, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 1 absent. Item 8.
In lieu of reading the names, I would like to thank Noel for creating a beautiful slide where we can see all of the new hires that have joined the Lammersville family. And so if we could just welcome them to the LUSD family.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Now moving on to item 8, district administrative reports. Superintendent's report. Dr. Nicholas?
Yes, I have a couple of items, and then we have a short presentation. Excuse me. First of all, building a school is a glorious undertaking, and the two most detail-oriented endeavors in building a school are the actual work of taking dirt and making it into a building. But the second one is taking all the money and spending it on all the right things in the right way. So I wanted to acknowledge Assistant Superintendent Grijalva and Director Kaiser and their team for their excellent work. We received the post-construction audit on Hanson Elementary School and Mountain House High School, and there were no findings. So that's a job well done. Second, we have, I got a little mailer, and I always like when we get mailers, especially ones that start with the moniker, "Congratulations, Mountain House High School is ranked amongst the best high schools in the United States." And that comes from the U.S. News and Reports, which is one of the more highly reputed ranking systems. But I want to be clear, I gave an honest portrayal of another ranking system and brought up some others. They're all flawed. We think our ranking is even higher than what we get because they don't have a function in their math for the early college pathway kids. They only really focus on advanced placement kids. So we are currently at the 89th point something percentile or 90th percentile in the country in terms of school rankings. So there's well over 18,000 high schools in the country, and we're right there in the 1,800 range for across the nation. So something we should be proud of. A lot of us old haggard folk that have been here are spry and excitable folks that are here that have been part of that journey. And but it's nice. One of our goals when we put the high school together was we went in the California state rankings. We wanted to be the high school in the top 100 and tried to get there in a period of time. And to get acknowledgement across the country now, it's something we should all be proud of. So congratulations to Mr. Faubert and the teams that he led over there, the board and all the tough decisions, the fight with the developer to get them money to fund it, the passing of Measure L, the starting all of the programs from the sports programs, the academic extracurriculars. I mean, you really think about it. The high school started with 450 kids. It currently has 2,250 kids. That's a rolling number of new people all the time. And it's the most beautiful high school in the state of California. I haven't seen anybody who even tries to say that they've got something better than us. So I think we should be all really proud of that. So we like the ranking systems. We like to brag, but I want to also be honest and say that all ranking systems are what they are. But that one's a pretty good one. So with that said, I want to talk about test scores, then I'm going to introduce Assistant Superintendent Sharp. A couple of factors. One, last spring we brought forward over 2 meetings a significant number of items that the board approved. And then towards the end of the summer, I was asked to explain what all that was. So there was a presentation of what all those purchases were, those contracts. And then we followed that up with a presentation on the application of those purchases. And this is the second one that we're doing with a specific focus tied to our board goals. Overall, we want to close opportunity gaps for kids, and we want to address the needs of students who are struggling in a district where approximately, I'm going to say 75% because it fluctuates, but 70 to 75% of our kids are there. They're at standard. They're above standard. So when you're high performing, the challenge is to make a pivot and maintain that while addressing kids that are just below standard and those that are significantly below standard. So the presentation Assistant Superintendent Sharp here is going to give is really is specifically focused on how we're addressing the 20% of students that are struggling below standard and how we're approaching it, tied to the approvals the board made last spring in those 2 meetings and the programs we're instituting and the tools we're using. And with that said, Assistant Superintendent Sharp.
Good evening, President Pombo, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Thank you for having me this evening.
Good evening.
So this is presentation titled Strategic Support. Again, before I get started, just to define for you what strategic support is. That is going to be the support provided by the teacher or the structure of the classroom that makes it that enables students to be able to access grade level content. So this is where we get into the very specifics, and each individual student might need something a little bit different. Okay, but as I'm talking about that, when you think strategic support, just think this is what the teacher is doing when they're drilling down to see what they can do to support the students. So when we're looking at strategic support, we're thinking of where do we want to be at the end of the year? And we know when we're working with this, we're really talking about implementation of our district goals and initiatives. So while tonight I'm talking about strategic support, we understand that strategic support is not standalone without great first-time instruction and without the quality impact team training that we also have to enhance our collaboration across the district. So here is our, as I'm talking about the strategic support plan, I just referenced how it is a part of one big puzzle of good first-time instruction, impact teams, and the 20% that all work together. When I'm talking tonight, I want you to think about the 20%, as Dr. Nicholas said, and 20% in a number, but think of the kids who are working below grade level. So we have students who are 2 or more years below grade level. We have those students who are a year below grade level. And then we have those students that we call the bubble group. They're right there, just hanging right there at grade level. So each group, each person or each student in those groups needs something a little bit different. And many of our tools can offer what the students need at each of their individual levels. So for teachers, there's specific expectations that we have for the teachers in order to have strategic support be effective across the district. We have K-8 Lexia, so that is our iRead replacement. And in the past, iRead was only for our kindergarten through second graders. With Lexia, we are able to offer that to 3rd through 8th grade students who are also struggling below grade level. For all of our kindergarten through second, again, all students get that. Teachers are checking it weekly. And strategic support small groups take place based on the students' needs and how they are performing in the program. In 3rd through 6th grade, we have Steps to Advance, which is a comprehension program that falls alongside of our curriculum for students operating 2 years below grade level in reading. They receive that every day. They receive weekly assessments in Steps to Advance, and then they're also receiving benchmark assessments if they're scoring above 70%. And what that piece is showing is that, okay, is our intervention working? We're not just doing an intervention. Students aren't just getting an intervention. We're actually determining, is the intervention working as far as closing that opportunity gap? Are we able to get that gap smaller so it's not going to be a 2-year gap any longer? It really is working to get them closer to grade level. In 1st through 8th math, we have focused math intervention, and that happens daily for students more than 1 year behind grade level. The students receive take a pre-test and a post-test on Mastery Connect, which is what we purchased this year, our new assessment platform. And that's done in every 5 lesson chunks. The purpose behind this is that, again, that students aren't just placed into an intervention because they're below grade level, that it's truly seeing what do the students need, and we're going to give them specific lessons related to what they need. If I am a student 2 years below grade level and on my pre-test I happen to be doing well on addition, well, I don't have to do the addition group with my teacher that week because I'm okay in that area. So we're really identifying where the opportunity gaps are and how we can assess our interventions to determine how to best place the students. We'll continue to use ST Math in kindergarten through 4th grade. However, students who are receiving focused math intervention are not required to have an extra ST Math also. We understand that there's time in the day where they're going to be with the teacher, so they're not necessarily going to have the same amount of time to be on ST Math like the other students would. And then finally, we also have our students on Guru and completing other math work as well while students are in the FMI groups. So administration. Administrators play a key part in strategic support in making sure that teachers are supported with pulling back information regarding students in the program, as well as any strategic support needs that they have to continue to focus on student growth. They have accountability structures in place to monitor student growth in Lexia specifically. In addition to Lexia in 1st through 8th grade math, admin is verifying and monitoring the FMI group. So again, I know that this might be a repeated message I'm saying, but I want to make sure that we understand that it's not, that we're being very strategic. Yes, I'm using that word, but we're making sure that the student's in the right group. They're not just placed in a group based on a score that they took on a test in August. Okay, so we're really taking time to look at pre and post tests. Administration is involved in supporting the teachers, and teachers are actively involved in supporting their students. So 2 months ago, I'm not sure, I showed you guys my beautiful little puzzle circle here. So it's back. And this is really what the intervention cycle is. It's a 4 to 5 week cycle, starting with an assessment, looking at that information, and then providing intervention, again, summing up at the end with an assessment again. So we wanted to take a look now. We've already given training to all of the teachers. We've had about 4 to 5 weeks of our first intervention cycle, and we want to see where we are, right? So what happened? There I am, asking questions. So when we talk about Lammersville, identifying students, looking at data, saying, yes, we know these students need this support, we've got that tight. Lammersville has that down. We know what placement tests to give. We have very good tools in place to be able to identify students and students' needs. That's tight. Creating our student groups related to needs, tight. Providing the intervention, we're very effective at providing intervention for students. That's tight. Where we're working as a district is looking at what assessments do we need to determine student progress. This is our attention right now. We're saying, okay, let's make sure that we can get this tight, because just providing the intervention, like I said earlier, doesn't matter. If there's an assessment that's showing I need something different as a learner, then we need to use that assessment to give me what I need. Based on the assessments, adjust grouping if needed, analyze growth on grade level assessments, and then reflecting as a school site and as a district on how our interventions are going. So that's the side that we're really focused on now, I would say, in the next 2 months when we're talking to administration, when I'm going out to sites to visit, really making sure that we're tight over now on the left-hand side, like we're tight on the right-hand side. With this comes reciprocal accountability. So I need to ensure that the teachers have the training that they need, that the administration has the training that they need, that I'm accountable to my coordinators, that they have what they need to provide support to teachers, that administration and their teams are accountable to one another, teachers to their grade level teams, and so forth. So it's not just about us looking down and saying, okay, this person needs to do this now. It's us really working together and being accountable to each other. The great things we have in place, Purchasing Mastery Connect and Elevate, are getting us there and giving us the tools we need to be successful. So as I look at the year for strategic support, we have kindergarten through 2nd grade. Trimester 1 ends October 31st. We have trained all K2 teachers in the use of Lexia, how to pull Lexia data, and then provide strategic support based on that data. Finishing up September 15th through the end of the trimester, administrators are taking part in classroom observations to see what kind of additional support their teachers may need in providing strategic support. Trimester 2, October 31st to about January 31st, so not the true whole trimester. We will go through a second cycle of professional development for teachers to support them further in small group routines and procedures. And then pending how we're doing in that area, if we need to come back and revisit, we will. So we want to make sure we close the circle. So if we are ready to move on, we will move on with the final phase, which is leveled readers in small groups with the teachers. And then looking at 3rd through 6th grade, the first 4 weeks of school, so through September 15th, teachers were trained in how to use Steps to Advance. That's for students 2 years below grade level. How to use Lexia, and that's for the students who are in the 49th percentile and below. And during that time, they were taught how to pull, again, the Lexia data review, strategic support, and some routines and procedures were put in place for those teachers as well. The K2 for Lexia, they knew how to do that. That was common for them. It was just like iRead. Take iRead and we're going to do Lexia. But to bring Lexia into 3rd through 6th was a little bit different. So we gave a little bit more support to those teachers as we brought that new tool in. Now, again, the same thing. We will look September 15th through the end of October to see what teachers need support on, prepare our next training over the next couple of months, and then following up at the end of the year with a small group instruction with the teacher based on weekly assessments. What's important with strategic support, I'll say as I come back to this slide, is that we're closing the circle. Like I showed you the circle with intervention, the same is true of our professional development. We want to make sure that the teachers have everything that they need to be successful, and that if we get out there and we provide professional development and we think they need more follow-up, we're going to take a step back and we're going to come back and support them more before we move forward. So talking about the beginning with the end in mind, our goal is that we can have our staff 80% proficient by May in the strategic support and being able to deliver the appropriate strategic support for the students and closing this opportunity gap for some of our students. Any questions? I was a fast talker tonight, sorry.
No question, but a comment. I love the way this district focuses on the opportunity gap and closing the opportunity gap and testing to make sure that we've closed the opportunity gap. Speaking as a student that couldn't read, I'm embarrassed to say what grade I was in before I could actually read, but you know, the system at the time was just move them on. And I managed to dig my way out of it, but a lot of students can't. So these supports that we are so dedicated on putting in place and maintaining and checking is just music to my ears. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'd just like to piggyback off that because I think, you know, like what it shows is that you're doing things that are research backed and you know, there's a science to it. I was talking to someone earlier about that. And I'm seeing that in the presentation, you know, that you're getting all the staff on board because it wouldn't really be effective if, you know, left to just teachers to do their own thing. I mean, not that teachers can't do their own thing and do it well, but this is a unified approach that makes sure that there's a systematic way for students to just, you know, continue to progress. And I think that's so great. And I'm excited, you know, to hear about the successes that our students have because of staff being proficient and, you know, collectively doing this together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, district enrollment report.
7,771.
Darn, I was hoping for all sevens. Thank you. Item C, district maintenance and operations report.
Thank you. Mine's very short, just a few items going on. So on our grounds and maintenance side, we have a position that's open. There's currently 3 applications. Should be interviewing next week, and we'll see how that goes and go from there on that. On the operations side, we currently have 3 openings that we're in the process of filling. We just purchased 2 new floor scrubbers to replace some aged ones that are aging out on us. One for Wickland, and then the other one's for the high school. Cleaning over fall break went really well. We got about 90% done of what we wanted to do. One of the items that we have coming up that we didn't get to is training the custodians at the high school on the new carpet cleaners by cleaning the carpets in the library. So there's some major spots in there that need cleaning, and they'll be doing that probably next week. Custodial appreciation was last week as well. We had a breakfast for them, about an hour or so, just to sort of show our appreciation, let them know what a great job they're doing, and just overall, you know, congratulate them on everything that they've been doing. So that's all I have for tonight.
Questions by the board?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9, action items. Item A, consider approval of the 2023-2024 inter and intra-district transfer requests.
Move to approve the 2023-2024 inter and intra-district transfer requests.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor? Item B, consider approval of a contract with Beyond Behavior California LLC for registered behavior technician for a student for the 2023-2024 school year. Total cost $61,650. Staff report?
Yes, this behavioral technician is for one student, IEP driven, that we believe will assist in with the required support.
Move to approve contract with Beyond Behavior California LLC for registered behavior technician for a student for the 2023-2024 school year. Total cost $61,650.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Boulay, student preferential vote?
Aye.
I just have one clarifying question for the superintendent. This, you mentioned it's for one student, and this is funded through the general fund, correct?
That is correct.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with one absent. Item C, consider approval of a contract with Summa Academy LLC for specialized academic instruction and other services for a student for the 2023-2024 school year. Total cost $83,080. Staff report?
Yes, this is a non-public school for the support through an IEP for one student.
Move to approve the contract with Summa Academy LLC for specialized academic instruction and other services for a student for the 2023-2024 school year. Total cost $83,080.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
And the same question, general fund money, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with one absent. Item D, consider approval to authorize the superintendent to issue requests for qualification, requests for proposals, RFQ, RFP, to selected architects for the design and construction administration of elementary schools in 2 of the neighborhoods north of Byron Highway, neighborhoods I, J, K, and L. Staff report?
Yes, I'm going to be preparing a more formal presentation, but there's been a significant shift in the size, scope, and scale of and the timelines of the development north of Byron Highway. If the board recalls, a new developer, Mike Sandu, has purchased the CalPERS investment from Resmark, who was their proxy consulting company. So therefore, with the new developer, what was originally the plan, which was that the first school north of the Byron Highway would be in neighborhood K, that the Mountain House developers, I should say, who Resmark supported, had gone through the machinations to change configurations of what types of houses would be built north of Byron Highway to where a former age-restricted neighborhood in neighborhood I became a market rate, meaning producing students. That J and K would be 50% market rate, 50% age-restricted, and L would remain as it had always been. So that was the work of Mountain House developers and their representation of CalPERS. The selling of the master developer role to the new developer, there's a shift. And though the new developer hired Mountain House developers and a consultant from Resmark, there is a push to develop the plans for 2 schools at one time. And I believe, how do I say this? The plan for what's age restricted and what's going to be market rate is in the process of transformation. What we know in our role is it takes 3 years to build a school. I'm bringing this forward because we need to get an architect identified through the formal process and then identify which two neighborhoods the schools are going to be built in. I would predict at present, if nothing changes, it will be in K and in I, but this has shifted on a couple of occasions behind the scenes. So I'm saying that as a general statement to not be held to if it changes. So there's a lot of work that has to be done to address all the desires of the new developer. Our role is when the developer says we're going to start developing a neighborhood and it's time to build a school, we get to work. And so this request is specific to the representatives of the new developer, Mr. Sandu, to design 2 schools at one time.
Point of clarification. The likelihood that we will actually build 2 schools at once is remote, correct? We just don't know which one we're going to build first.
Correct. So let me be clear that getting them designed and building them at the same time is 2 different things. So I should have been more clear. You get a design approval through DSA and you have up to 4 years to begin construction. I would say, based on what I've been told, that one school will go forward in its normal process, but we'll have a already approved plan in the queue as development picks up pace. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Further questions or comments?
Move to authorize the superintendent to issue a request for qualifications, request for proposals, RFQ, RFP, to selected architects for the design and construction and administration of elementary schools in 2 of the neighborhoods north of Byron Highway, neighborhoods I, J, K, and L.
Second.
A motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Olson. Student preferential vote.
Aye.
Are there any further questions or comments by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 1 absent. Item 10, discussion items. A, DARE graduations. Staff report?
Yes, we wanted to present to the board the DARE graduation dates as we know them. Some of them are subject to change. And we've assigned Director Faubert to work directly with Officer Abercrombie so that there's a conduit between Officer Abercrombie, the school sites, the district team, and the board. So that's what we have so far.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the DARE graduations? Moving on to item B, board handbook workshop. Staff report?
Yes, the board had asked staff to come up with a date for a board workshop on the board handbook. We had a date, and then it was requested that we change the date so that all 5 board members could be present. We wanted to recommend to the board that with the board's direction, we send some new dates out to the board, get a date set, and then have the workshop.
That sounds reasonable to me. Any objections?
I actually do want to discuss this a little bit. I'm hesitant. Well, I'm hesitant to reschedule because I think that with the holidays coming up, it's going to be very difficult for us to get another date on the books until after the new year. And if we do reschedule, there's always a possibility that one of us is not going to be there. So first of all, rescheduling and getting all of our schedules together could be potentially a challenge. And with things that come up, COVID is still lurking about, it's flu season. There's a chance that if we do reschedule, then someone's not going to be there. So then would we reschedule again? And this keeps getting pushed further and further out. The primary reason we wanted this meeting is because on our board evaluation, we have several 3s that we weren't pleased with, and we want to work on those. I think even if the majority of us are available to attend, I think we can still get some good work done. And then in the following board meeting, recap on what we talked about, what we worked on, so that we are all aware of what we talked about. I think I'm worried that if we have these 3s and we don't address them sooner rather than later, they can fester and they can become 2s, being more challenging to improve and to a point where we really want them at 4s or 5s. So that's food for thought.
I agree with Trustee Boulay. I think it's really going to be difficult to reschedule first and foremost. Like November 8th is the date. And I mean, there's like the Thanksgiving break, Then, there's the holidays, which a lot goes on. Staff is going to be very busy with other things, which, we set a date as a board, and like without having information that there's a really, really valid, compelling reason to change a date, I hesitate to like make this a practice, so.
I hear and respect both of those, or that point of view. My thought is that board cohesiveness is a 5-member board, and to work on cohesiveness with 4 of us may not. I was really hoping, because I was the one that suggested it in the first place, and while I too am like, oh, man, rescheduling it is going to be hard to get the value that we really want to get. I think all 5 of us should be here, and it's unfortunate that one of us can't make it, but I really think the value that I would hate to have a situation where we do it, Dr. Nicholas spends the time, we spend the time, and then after the first of the year, we do it again or revisit it. So for me, it's unfortunate that one of us could not, arrange our time, for it. But if that's what it takes, that's what I'm willing to do, is reschedule.
And I agree with Trustee Clements. I feel like it's important for all 5 of us to be there and get the firsthand understanding of each other's ideas, positions. Also, the benefit of the firsthand hearing Dr. Nicholas explain the governance handbook, and the ability for us to discuss as a 5-member team what that means, what each item in the handbook means to us as individuals and us collectively as a board. I too am disappointed in rescheduling it, but I really feel like it's important that all 5 board members are present for the workshop. And we have 2 to 2, so I'm not sure how we
I was just thinking about that.
how we get consensus out of that.
Well, it's not an action item, so it's not like it would negate a vote.
How about can we get consensus to have Superintendent Nicholas send out some potential dates to us, and then if we can't come up with a date that the 5 of us can make it in the relatively near future, then we'll discuss it again before November 8th comes?
I guess my question is, what is the relatively near future? I can't see it happening before the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I mean, my calendar is pretty packed already. I set aside this day and time, and then planned around it. And so I want to say how frustrating it is when you do that, and then to be asked, to change. Is it going to happen again and again, like Trustee Boulay said? I mean,
well, I left my crystal ball at home, so I can't tell you if it's going to happen again and again or not. But personally, I feel like it's more important that all 5 of us are present than doing it before the end of the year or before the end of January or before a certain date, because I think it's that important that we're all there to hear and discuss and understand things.
I guess we could investigate the possibility of one member being able to Zoom in and maintaining the date. I don't know if that's a possibility or not. So I'm just, since it's 2-2, I'm coming up with alternative ideas off the cuff here. So that might be something we could reach out and see if that's a possibility.
I appreciate your thinking outside the box.
Yes.
Trying to come up with a solution that works.
Yeah, it was my thought that we would do it after the first of the year. So that was where my head was at. So having heard the discussion, we can make November 8th work. It would be great if the fifth member could be here. And then if there are potential dates, are we good with that? With me floating out some other options, or just go with what?
Yes.
Yes.
We're good
I think
with
so.
floating.
We'll float a menu.
Seeing about the Zoom and then trying other dates.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 11, calendar. Wednesday, November 1st is our next regular governing board meeting here in the boardroom at 7 o'clock. Thursday, November 2nd is the next facilities meeting here in the boardroom at 6:30. Thursday, October 26th is the DLAC reclassification celebration at 6:30 at Cordis School MPR. Tuesday, October 24th is the next Education Committee meeting at 6:30 in the Professional Development Center. In a moment, we will be adjourning to closed session where we will discuss employee discipline dismissal release complaint, Government Code 54957, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code 54956.8, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code 54956.9, student versus Lammersville Elementary School District, OAH case number 2023060953. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code 54956.9, and conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code 54956.9. Do I have a motion?
Move to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Boulay and seconded by Trustee Clements, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with one absent. We are now adjourned. Thank you all for coming this evening.
Thanks.
Calling this meeting of the Lammersville Unified Board of Education back to order at 9:20 p.m. in closed session. The board took action on a motion by Trustee Clements and seconded by Trustee Boulay to approve final release and settlement agreement resolving OAH case number 2023060953. The board approved the agreement for reimbursement of services and attorney's fees in the amount of $45,000 for release and waiver of claims. The motion passed by the following vote: 4 ayes and 1 absent. The board also took action on a motion by Trustee Olson and seconded by Trustee Clements to reject the government claim presented to the Lammersville Unified District Board on behalf of claim number 628313 on a vote of 4 ayes and 1 absent. I will entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Clements and seconded by Trustee Boulay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now adjourned. Thank you.